Manx Radio Sport.
Welcome to Saturday Sport Classified on Manx Radio AM 1368. Results, reaction and analysis to the football, rugby and hockey action going on across the Isle of Man and further afield today. Cup competitions galore to end the Manx hockey season today. The Manx Cup, its final group game taking place at Ballafletcher this afternoon. In football, the Hospital Cup quarter-finals have been taking place. We've got the Junior Cup quarter-finals to come tomorrow. And of course, the Isle of Man men's national team has been across the water today on Merseyside in what is caretaker player-manager Christa Jr.'s first game in charge. We're going to be hearing about that in just a few moments' time, along with our football correspondent, Tony Mepham. But first and foremost, let's give you the classified sporting results for Isle of Man football, rugby and hockey for today, Saturday, the 26th of April, 2025. Starting with football. The Manx Quality Sheds Hospital Cup quarter-finals. Ramsey Youth Centre and Old Boys 1, Laxey 2. Colby 2, Douglas High School Old Boys 4. Foxdale 1, Ramsey 6. Peel versus Ayr United postponed until Tuesday the 29th of April due to players representing the Isle of Man national team. In Ardern and Druggan Limited Division 2. Maloo versus Castletown awarded as an away walkover to Castletown, Maloo unable to field a team. Ardern and Druggan Limited Combination 2. Governors Athletic versus Ramsey Youth Centre and Old Boys awaiting result. And Pulrose United versus Douglas Royal awaiting result. And in a UK-based friendly, Halewood Apollo 3, Isle of Man 4. Turning now to rugby. The Manx Cup. Vagabonds 20, Southern Nomads 0. And in hockey. The Men's Bowl Final. Valkyries C2, Vikings C2, Valkyries C win 4-2 on penalty strokes. The Ladies' Bowl Final. Valkyries C 1, Backers C 5. The Men's Cup Final. Valkyries A 0, Backers A 8. The Ladies' Plate Final. Valkyries B 2, Backers B 1. And the Men's Plate Final. Backers B 1, Harlequins B 0 is a latest score. Those are your classified sporting results for football, rugby and hockey on the Isle of Man for Saturday, the 26th of April 2025. As we mentioned with the hockey side of things, the men's plate final is underway as we speak. Going into the second half, Backers B leading that by a goal to 0. We'll be hoping to get an update from our hockey correspondent Ben Cunningham later in the programme, who's been down all day at the Cup Finals weekend at the NSC in Douglas. But first of all, let's turn our attention to the footballing side of things, and one man who's been very busy today away from the island, and that's where he joins us from right now, is our football correspondent Tony Mepham, who's been following the progress of the Isle of Man men's national team in its friendly up against Liverpool county champions Halewood Apollo this afternoon. Tony, very good afternoon to start with. Before we get to other matters, I guess, with the player manager himself, could you just let us know how the game went down earlier this afternoon?
Yeah, certainly can, Rob. And it was a good game, and it's one of those that new management in Chris and obviously Matthew Woods and Rick Holden as well. So it's all to sort out and pick their teams. Travelled with 17 players and quality players indeed. But the first half, we went 1-0 down, and it was just one of those that free kick ball floated in, and the Isle of Man defence didn't sort of deal with it. But when you've got players like Sean Doyle in your squad, you know something's going to come. And it wasn't long before Sean got one in. It was a good free kick by Harry Best, and it was Sean Doyle there who tucked it away to make it on as even. But 2 minutes later, their number 8, sorry I haven't got his name, but he was a player, and he took a free kick from probably about 25 yards out, left footer, and curled it to Mark Blair's left-hand side. Blair has stood no chance, to be honest with you, and what a great goal. And that was the score at half-time, 2-1. But second half, it was all sort of change. Chris changed the midfield, changed the defence, and Matthew Woods came on, went in alongside he went on the right hand side. Carl Clark switched across from the right to the middle with Jay Callister, and then on the left hand side was Josh Cain, and changed the goalkeeper as well. First appearance for Jay Gandy, and then in midfield, well, that's to me where all the hard work was done, because I thought Connor Clark on the left hand side Nathan Little, Joe Marquez in the middle. And then on the right-hand side, to me, an absolute find because I think it was Thursday night, Cameron Tor wasn't coming on the trip. And then due to players not being able to make it, Cameron came and he was a standout performer, I thought, in the second half. And then when you've got Sean Doyle up front, you knew that things were going to happen. And Sammy Gelling had plenty of chances. And it was Jamie Callister with a thundering header to make it 3-2. And then, unfortunately, their number 9 was given a bit of space on the left-hand side, cut in, hit it well, and 3-3 it was. And then the fourth one, and I'm delighted he scored, to be honest with you, because he was a pain throughout the game. And that was Connor Clark. And Sean Doyle just spotted him on the left, played the ball out to him. And I'm glad to say Connor hit it well, and it went past the keeper. And final score was Halewood Polymer FC 3, the Isle of Man national side 4.
And just on that note, well, we won't waste any more time because I do believe you've got caretaker player manager Chris Bass Jr. with you, who's taken charge of his first game today and a winning result as well in his first game. If Chris could join us right now.
Not a problem.
Hello, Rob.
And here we are. Here he is, Chris Bass Jr., the caretaker player manager of the Isle of Man men's national team. Chris, thanks very much for joining us. First off, congratulations, a win in your first game in charge.
Thank you very much.
A 4-3 win over Halewood Apollo. So how did you find the game? What did you make of it?
I think for our first game in charge and our first look at the squad that we've got now and the team that we've picked, it was a good test. That was exactly what I was hoping for. It turned out that way, so it was a good test for us to... good quality team to play against, and a good test for us to have a look at our players and change the team around at half time, have a look at other different players. It was a good test, and we come out on top, which not always the important thing, but it's nice to get a win in the first game.
And in terms of the qualities that your team showed throughout the game, what were the biggest things that you think stood out in general from what you've seen, of course, in what is your first competitive game in charge?
I think we've tried to work on a certain style of play, a certain way of playing. I think in the first half we lost that little bit. We are unsure of the quality of the team that we were playing against. We got caught out a little bit with some of the passing moves they put together in the midfield, but we kind of were too quick to move the ball ourselves. We spoke about it at half time, and we became a little bit more composed in the second half. Take the time on the ball, pick a few better passes, a few bit more quality pass from the back up to the front, and it sort of opened the game up for us a little bit with then our wide players being able to get involved and have good runners off that. So yeah, we've worked on quite a few things in training so far, and it was nice to see them come to fruition in the second half. So that was pleasing, and all without 6 of the main squad for the games, and a lot of our attacking players still not available today. So it was nice. It was good to see.
And like you say, and as you said to us as well earlier in the week leading up to this as well, you may not have had a couple of players available that you might have wanted, but what have you made then of the players that have stepped into the squad this week, because the squad as a whole has delivered in this game?
Yeah, sorry, Rob. Can you repeat that? Sorry, I just can't hear properly there. Sorry.
Plenty going on around you.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here.
Indeed. Just on that point, like you said, you had a couple of players missing potentially, but what have you made of the players that have stepped in and helped deliver that result today?
We brought a few players in. Josh is in reserve for our squad. Nathan's unavailable for the Island Games. He's going to California with the schools team. And then we brought Cameron in as a player to look maybe for future reference for going forwards. And there was a lot of good standout performances. Very impressive with the lads that came in that aren't part of the final squad. So it was very pleasing overall. Good to see a lot of young players on the pitch in the second half that we thought were outstanding. So yeah, it was pleasing. Lots to work on still. We could be a bit more decisive in our defending. And then we can be a bit more fluid going forwards. But yeah, it was overall very pleasing. Nice to see the lads that come into the squad late on do a good job for us.
Just 2 more questions. First, I'm looking ahead, really. So, in terms of what you've learned from this particular game, of course, you've still got a few months between now and the Island Games, which is, of course, one major target that you and the team will be looking at. So, have you already identified several key areas that you'd like to work on? And do you believe you've got the time and the players available to make sure you can hit those objectives before you head to Orkney in the summer?
100%. Yeah, what we've seen today, we were impressed with, especially in the second half, and what we know with the style of play that we want to play, the players that we've got available to us is definitely going to lend itself to that, and we're looking forward to it. I think there's plenty of time to be able to get to where we want to be. Plenty of fixtures lined up coming forwards in the next few months. We've got just under 3 months now to go, but I think that's plenty of time, and with the squad that we've got, they're all really keen, and the commitment and the effort they've put in has been really pleasing. So I know that we'll get where we want to be. This might take a little bit of time, but we'll definitely get there, and the squad that we've got is capable of doing what we want them to.
And just finally, on a more general note as well, this occasion in particular, obviously it's preparation going forward, but how good is it that the team as a whole, including yourself in a coaching capacity, has the chance to play these games? Because of course we don't see the Isle of Man men's national team in action too much throughout the season, naturally because of how busy the local schedule is, but how important are these opportunities, whether you've got an Island Games or not, anything, for example, to be able to get out there and showcase a little bit what the Isle of Man is capable of in football?
I think it's very important to be able to get fixtures for the Isle of Man. It's disappointing that we don't play as many as we used to. I think it's something that I've discussed with Tony and some of the FA representatives, that it's something that we should be working towards, offering a lot more games for the players that play for the national side. It's always good to get the national side out playing for people to come and watch, and especially to get us over across the water and show what we can do on the mainland. I mean, obviously FC Isle of Man get to play week in, week out, but it's nice for the national side to get some recognition with the players that aren't always playing for FC Isle of Man. So it's definitely something we need to look at in the future. I know we've got fixtures lined up coming in the next couple of months, which is nice, but something that we can look at for the next year and leading up to the next Island Games in 2 years' time, whether it be myself in charge or anybody else. We need to be offering more games for players for the national side.
Well, Chris, thank you very much again for your time, and congratulations again on the result, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. If you could hand back to Tony.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, Rob. Thank you.
Thank you. That's Chris Bass Jr., the Isle of Man men's national team's player manager there after his side's 4-3 victory away at Liverpool county champions Hellwood Apollo this afternoon. Well, Tony, we'll have him back, but before we get on to the local results, just your thoughts on some of the things that Chris has said there in terms of opportunities for the Isle of Man national team to play more games and showcase itself. Do you think it's done a good job of that today at the very least?
Oh, definitely, because I think there was one or two sort of clubs who had watched the game. Certainly the Liverpool counties are keen for us to come back. But the one that we've got to sort of just keep an eye on is obviously the Island Games. And it's going to cost, a lot of money to get teams away. This weekend is a bit of a smash and grab. Come over on the boat, play the game. We're in the centre of Liverpool now, ready to return home. And it's so important for the players to get game time. But I think Chris Bass has got a lovely problem appeared today, because there was 3 or 4 players there, Rob, and we've sat down and looked at the squad that's been picked, and I think 1 or 2 players have staked the claims for a starting 11, not just being a member of the squad. So that's up to Chris to sort that one out, and that might be his first bit of pressure to deal with.
Indeed, plenty of food for thought going forwards. Well, that's the Isle of Man men's national team there. Let's turn our attention then to what's been happening in the local game this afternoon. A lot of the focus on the Manx Quality Sheds Hospital Cup quarter-finals. Now, just a reminder for those who don't know, one of the 4 quarter-finals has been postponed to Tuesday the 29th of April. That's a game between Peel and Ayr United, and that's due to a number of Peel and Ayr United players being involved in the aforementioned Isle of Man men's national team game against Hellwood Apollo this afternoon. So that'll be taking place now in a few days' time. But nevertheless, 3 other quarter-finals took place. Let's start in the north of the island, Tony. Ramsey Youth Centre and Old Boys taking on Laxey, and Ramsey Youth Centre and Old Boys actually took the lead in this one, but Johnny Palmer's Laxey getting the job done later in the game. Laxey beating Ramsey Youth Centre and Old Boys by 2-1.
Yeah, and as I said last night, I've been impressed with Ramsey Youth Centre this season, and certainly in the Woods Cup final, they showed enough to me that they could sort of mix it, and if things go to their plans next Tuesday and they get promoted, then I think they'll do okay. But Ramsey Youth Centre, obviously with the 1 goal, haven't got the goal scorer. But Laxey, how important has Eric Hill been for them this season? He's scored plenty of goals, hasn't he? And he got an important one today to start it all off for Laxey. And Adam Meelan, plenty of experience there. And it doesn't matter how many you win by, as long as you win. And that's what Laxey have done. And have got themselves into the semi-final draw.
And I can tell you that Ramsey Youth Centre and Old Boys scorer was Ross Crawford, actually put them in front in that game. Well, elsewhere, it was an All Division 2 affair at Station Fields between Colby and Douglas High School Old Boys. The latter of those particularly right in the mix, fighting for promotion from Division 2 up against the Colby side that have impressed throughout this season at times. Colby actually took the lead in this one, with Douglas High School Old Boys clinical at the other end as well. Douglas High School Old Boys winning this one by 4-2. And we looked at this game, Tony, and thought, well, could be a bit riding on this for both teams, and it's Old Boys who've come out on top on this particular occasion.
Well, it is, and with Colby, okay, he had sort of good start to the season. But now they've sort of shown that they are worthy of their top 4 spot, and they'll be looking to see if they can sort of get promoted next season. But I think it was Seb Spears who got the first one for Colby. But then, Douglas High School Old Boys, when you've got the experience of people like Robbie Ward in there, Andrew Ward, then things can turn around very quickly. And that's what happened here, because Robbie Ward pulled it back, I think, 1-1. I think Jacob Stones might have got the second one. Robbie Ward got a second goal. And then Drew Ward, his brother, got the 4th one. So Old Boys go through, and Old Boys are looking for that huge game on Tuesday night where Ramsey Youth Centre play against Old Boys, and basically it's the winner takes all. Whoever wins it, I'm not too sure how it works on a draw, but I'm pretty certain that these two teams want to be playing in the Premier League next season, and they'll be doing everything they can to see if they can get the result.
Plenty still unanswered questions in Division 2 when it comes to the league side of things. Well, the other Hospital Cup quarter-final that took place today was an all-Premier League affair at Billygoat Park. Foxdale beaten at home by Ramsey by 6-1, a clinical display from the Northerners. But I think it's worth pointing out here, Tony, from the message that I got through when that result came in, a much changed Foxdale side, to say the least, with a number of first-team players away on a stag do, I believe, as well. But we had the likes of Andy Ball playing up front for Foxdale, Jay Chatwood playing at centre-back, Kevin Pullman playing in central midfield here. So a much changed Foxdale team, and Ramsey clinical. Is it maybe surprising or not that with Foxdale's changes this kind of result?
No, I think it was always going to happen, to be honest with you, because you got to blame Jack Smith and Ellie as well for allowing Jack, for a start off, to have his stag do during the season. It's not on really in terms of football, but we'll let Jack away with that one. But Andy Ball can play outfield. He's a good footballer all round. And, Jay Chatwood, you always want the person who's going to score your goals to be playing up front. And I think it was more just put in for a height reason. And obviously he can play football. And then Kevin Pullman, he can play anywhere in the midfield. But I haven't got Ramsey scorers, Rob. I don't know if you've got them.
I do indeed. It was a brace for Ollie Ayres, and then goals from Nathan Crane, Tom Chattel, Jamie Agnew and Alfie Scott.
Yeah, and I think, when you look at people like Ollie Ayres, he's definitely a future, to me, Ireland national player, and even maybe FC Isle of Man, because there's a lot of talk about him in Manx football. He's quick, and it's just one of those that you've just got to be patient as you sort of grow up, mature, and get yourself in the squad. But, Alfie Scott's a good player as well. And, Ramsey, it's similar to last year, where they have so many trophies to go for at the end, because they're still in there with the Junior Cup. They're here now into the Hospital Cup semi-finals, and they're in the Cal Cup semi-finals as well. So it's a massive time at the moment for them, and well done to them today for finishing the job off against Foxdale by beating them 6-1.
And of course, we will have the Manx Quality Sheds Hospital Cup semi-final draw taking place shortly as well. A reminder that game between PLNA United postponed until Tuesday, with players from both sides representing the Isle of Man national team today. Just had an update in the hockey as well from Ben Cunningham in the men's plate final that is taking place. It is now Backers B 2, Harlequins B 0. So Backers B extending their lead. They've been incredible goal scoring from over 60 goals in the league so far this season, and they're led by a 0-0 at half-time, but they've extended their advantage. But Harlequins, are they maybe still in with a shout? It seems a catchable scoreline, but can they do it against a prolific Backers side? Well, we'll find out. That is a latest score, by the way, in the men's plate final. Backers B 2, Harlequins B 0. We'll be catching up with Ben in just a little bit. Well, Tony, we'll turn our attention to the league games taking place today. Not too much to say just at this particular stage, because the game in Ardern and Druggen Limited Division 2 between Malou and Castletown, we found out that has been awarded as a away walkover to Castletown. Malou sadly unable to field a team there.
Yeah, it is, and disappointment. We'll check in with Malou tomorrow and just see where we are with the remainder of their fixtures for the season. But as we touched on last night, Rob, they've had a tough time lately, and they've only got one team to pick from, players' injuries away and everything. And, they apologised. That's great. Obviously Castletown would like to game of football, but sometimes it's out of the club's hands, because if the players aren't available, then you can't put a team out.
Indeed, and of course we're still waiting for 2 results in Ardern and Druggen Limited Combination 2 as well, between Governors Athletic and Ramsey Centre and Old Boys, Paul Rose United and Douglas Royal. Well, Tony, I don't know if you've had any updates on those ones at the moment.
I haven't, not at the moment, Rob, but I'll try and chase them after we finish and see if I can get the scores, and I'll text them through to you.
No problem. And if you are listening out there, you do know any of the scores from either of those two games in combination too. Governors Athletic versus Ramsey Centre All Boys and Pulrose United versus Douglas Royal. Please do let us know via text or via WhatsApp 166 177. Well, while we're waiting for those, let's get down to the matter of the draw for the Hospital Cup semi-finals. And Tony, which teams are going into the hat?
The 4 teams that we've got, or 5 teams we've got going into the draw for the Manx Quality Sheds Hospital Cup semi-finals is we've got Peel or Ayr, we've got Douglas High School All Boys, Laxey and Ramsey. So, 4 or 5 big teams in there. And we've just got to get that Peel and Ayr game out of the way. And we're just going to check the light tonight, Rob, because I was a bit concerned about it last night. If it goes to extra time and penalties, where we would be with it. So we'll just check it tonight. We've got Matthew Woods over here with me and also Jamie Callister, the two captains of their teams. And we'll see, if they're comfortable with it. But we don't want to get the game playing, go into extra time and possibly even penalties. And it has to be abandoned because of the light. So we'll work on that tonight.
Okay, well, we'll get updates on those, no doubt, down the line. But let's waste no more time. Let's get this Manx Quality Sheds Hospital Cup semi-finals draw underway. And first out of the hat, Tony, is number 4.
And number 4 is Ramsey.
And that'll be a home tie for Ramsey against number 3.
Number 3 is Peel or Ayr.
And with a home tie in the other semi-final is number 2.
Number 2 is a home game for Laxey.
And the final one out of the hat is number 1.
And that's Douglas High School All Boys. I think you've got that written down, Rob. I'll let you repeat the draw.
I have indeed. So here we are, the Hospital Cup semi-finals draw. It is Ramsey versus Peel or Ayr United and Laxey versus Douglas High School Old Boys. So that is your Hospital Cup semi-final draw. And Tony, as it stands, when are you potentially hoping for these ties to be played?
Well, I'm hoping for the semi-finals to be played next Saturday. We'll have one of the Paul Henry Gold Cup ties played as well, the Braddon v Colby, and the other one, Ramsey Youth Centre against Old Boys. We'll have to delay that because obviously Old Boys are playing in the semi-finals of the Manx Quality Sheds Hospital Cup. So a bit of work to do on that. But Ramsey v Peel or Ayr, as I say, Peel and Ayr are due to play on Tuesday. And then that semi-final will go ahead next Saturday if we get that game on.
And just taking a look at the other semi-final there, Tony, Laxey versus Douglas High School Old Boys. Laxey were run close today by Ramsey Youth Centre Old Boys in Division 2. Douglas High School Old Boys getting past Colby today. Do you think Douglas High School Old Boys might fancy their chances? It is a cup semi-final after all.
Yeah, well, it's a shame we haven't got our sponsor with you, really, because he could have filled us in with what went on. But Carl's been pretty confident right the way through this competition, and he just thought if they stay away from sort of Peel or Ayr, they've got a golden opportunity. And today against Colby, okay, it was a tighter game, 4-2 than maybe I thought, but they scored the 4 goals. And if you can score goals, if you've got goal scorers, then you're in with a chance. And Carl's got some really good young players in there. And if they can sort of hold it all together and, just try and nullify Laxey's threat, then they could be in with a chance. But, 2 great semi-finals, whatever it may be, that first one. But the second one, Laxey against Old Boys. Laxey there in the final last year. They'd love to do it again this year, and it's all to play for.
Well, Tony, thank you very much as always, and thanks again also to Alabama men's national team player manager Chris Bass Jr. for joining us on the show this evening. Tony, we'll let you enjoy your journey back, and we'll be seeing you again very soon.
Appreciate your time. Thank you very much, Rob.
Manx Radio Sport.
Well, let's just quickly turn our attention to hockey as well. We brought you a bit of an update before on what's been going on in the men's plate final. That game underway between Backersby and Harlequins B. Well, here is the latest update we had in the last few moments from our hockey correspondent, Ben Cunningham.
Welcome back to the NSC in the men's plate final, and Backersby have added their second goal to the game. They now lead by 2-0. Jack Grimbley with the goal. A real unfortunate moment for Harlequins. They were up their end and they had the chance to convert and they just missed. And then straight down the other end, Backersby went and they scored to make it Backersby 2, Harlequins B 0.
Going to turn our attention to rugby now. It was Manx Cup action taking place this afternoon at Balafletch, and of course there's plenty of drama in midweek after Ramsey withdrew from the competition. Ramsey citing a couple of perceived concerns for their reasons for withdrawing from the competition. Of course, the Manx Rugby Executive Committee has also responded to Ramsey's decision. If you want any more details on that particular situation, full details at Manx Radio Sports Hub at manxradio.com. We'll turn our attention to matters which have been happening today, and our rugby correspondent Dave Christian, who was down at the final Manx Cup group game of the season between Vagabonds and Southern Nomads. Dave, very good afternoon. Could you tell us how things unfolded at Balafletch earlier today?
Yeah, good afternoon, Rob. Well, the first thing that happened, it was an excellent game of rugby broke out on the pitch and away from the drama off it. And that was a refreshing change for everybody after the trials and tribulations of this week. Vagabonds looked stronger in the forwards. Southern Nomads looked stronger in the back line. And that's pretty much how it turned out. Vaggers went ahead early on, clung on to their lead half-time and managed to close the game out in the second half. Not that Nomads didn't try, it would be inaccurate for me to say that. They were battling all the way to the final whistle, and in fact we thought they got across the line, but a player adjudged to have held up, and there was a forward pass involved in a try Tony Quinn picked up. Vagabonds attack and line out, give them their break. That was taken by Aaron Sloan, a drive towards the Nomads line. They were only about 5 metres out. John Ferguson launched himself off the back of that. He was down just short, and it was recycled quickly, and the skipper, Dan Bomwick, had too much power for the Nomads' defence from close range. Took him another 10 minutes to get the second try. There were, though, a period of persistent pressure inside the Nomads 22. And finally, it was number 8, Tom Gascoigne, who got the try. And Gascoigne and Bomwick, of course, both scored against Ramsey midweek as well. So they're both in a fine run of form right now. Half-time, it was 10-0. Perhaps it should have been 15. Bomwick blocked an attempted kick from Nomads' Mark Young. The ball went bouncing back towards the Nomads' try line. Bomwick was quickest to react. He snaffled the ball up and was racing towards the posts to score. And it was Nomad centre Will Tazier with, I'm going to give it the tackle of the season. He must have covered 20 metres ground to catch Bomwick, and he just managed to snaffle him before the try line, and Nomads were able to clear the danger for that. It was well worth the entry fee just to see the Will Tazier tackle. In the second half, didn't go well for Nomads. They had the wind at their backs. They were hoping that was going to give them territory, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. That Vagabonds front five got to grips, a 5 metre scrummage, and they turned the taps open full. Drove the Nomads back over the line, and it was Tom Gascoigne, number 8, picked up his second of the match. Dan Bomwick converted that, and Nomads was suddenly trailing 17-0. Midway through the half, Bomwick had to leave the field with a leg injury, but Cam Finlay replaced him, and Vagabonds were awarded a penalty 22 minutes into the second half. It was about 26, 27 metres out, but right in front of the posts. And Finley's just an accomplished goal kicker as Bomwick is, and he made no mistake. That left Nomads 20-0 behind, needing 3 converted tries to win. And it just wasn't their day, to be honest. Everything they tried, the ball was dropped, there were little knock-ons. It was just one of those days when nothing went right for them. So fair play to them. It was a great contest. And like I said, they pushed all the way to the final whistle, but it is Vagabonds who took the win. They will face Douglas in next week's Manx Cup final. It's at Balafletch. Kick-off time yet to be confirmed, but we think it'll probably be 2:15. And that's with Ramsey's withdrawal from the competition. And the outcome from the Manx executive meeting last night was that the winner of today's game would go through to the final. So congratulations to Vagabonds. It's been a tough week for them, 3 games in 7 days. They've fronted up, though, and they've got their reward today, which will be, like I said, a Manx Cup final next Saturday.
You answered the next question I was going to ask with regards to the Manx Cup final. So as you say there, Dave, and if anyone missed that out there as well, the Manx Cup final, that'll be between Vagabonds and Douglas next weekend. Kick-off time to be confirmed, but it will be taking place next Saturday afternoon. We do have another result in from the footballing side of things in our Durn and Drug Unlimited Combination 2. One of the results we were waiting for. Governors Athletic have beaten Ramsey Centre and Old Boys by 3-2. Tom Davies with one of the goals, and then Rob Bella with a brace there. So Governors Athletic with a 3-2 victory there. Well, Well, Dave, just coming back to today's game and Vagabonds, like you said, a very quick turnaround for them, another busy schedule. Surely plenty of praise in the Vagabonds camp, considering how intense it's been over the last few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, the players were awesome. I think Dan Bonwick, he went off with a leg injury. Hopefully that's nothing too serious. But aside from that, yeah, the players were brilliant. John Ferguson, I was singing his praises last night in the preview. He had an excellent game today, playing in the front row, a proper warrior. When he got the ball, he made ground. When he was making his tackles, they were all sticking. And he's not the youngest of the players out there either, and a great shift from him. At the other side of the scrum as well, Joe Lowe, a great afternoon for him. Aaron Sloan, the young guy in the second row, he fronted up as well. There was just performances for everybody. And Tom Gascoigne at number 8 has just been brilliant this season. He scored whenever he's played, I think, pretty much. He hasn't been able to make all their away games, but he's had a brilliant season, and we're not sure when the Vagabonds dinner and awards are, but if Tom Gascoigne doesn't pick something up, then there's something wrong with the selectors up there. He did tell me a couple of weeks ago that this would be his final season. Well, we've heard that before from a lot of people, and I think this is the first time Tom said it, so maybe he's got another season left in him just yet, but it would be a great way for him to finish with a Manx Cup final win, although it will be very, very difficult for them given how dominant Douglas are.
And just finally, a word for Southern Nomads. I know you pointed out a number of qualities they could have brought to this game today. Did it just not quite click for them today, or is that largely down to the way Vagabonds played?
A bit of both, I think, Rob, is probably the fairest way. That Nomads backline is brilliant. They just weren't getting enough quality ball, and the Vagabonds backline defence was up very quickly. Obviously, I think they've realised the danger that the Nomads backline posed. Will Tazier was immense in the centre, but Finn McGregor, the captain, is also pretty good, and him and Tazier in the centre was a great pair, great partnership. The Crane brothers, one at 15, one at 14. Anytime the Vagabonds kicked the ball to those guys, it was run back with interest. But when they were making those set moves and set plays, the ball just wasn't sticking to hand. There was always a little knock on or a drop ball. And I think I said in the wrap up after the match for Paul that when it's not your day, it's not your day, and it simply wasn't Nomad's day today. But fair play, they made a good fist of it, and they'll be back to fight again.
Dave Christian, thank you very much, our rugby correspondent there, as Vagabonds progress to the Manx Cup final. They'll face Douglas next weekend after beating Southern Nomads by 20 points to 0 at Ballafletcher this afternoon.
Manx Radio Sport.
Going to be turning our attention to hockey very shortly and the men's plate final, the last of the 2025 Cup finals to take place this weekend. But first of all, a big event that's coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, a huge contingent of Isle of Man athletes are set to take on the iconic London Marathon. They'll be part of around 56,000 people in total taking on the event in the English capital, with those involved racing competitively or in aid of important causes. Well, among the island competitors taking part this year is Isle of Man women's marathon record holder Christa Cain. I caught up with Christa ahead of the race to find out what her ambitions will be on Sunday and what she thinks makes the London Marathon such a special occasion to be part of.
Well, it's the first time I've raced London, so yeah, it feels like a big do. So I'm very excited. It's great that there's so many people over from the Isle of Man. So hopefully the vibe should be really good. Yeah, training's been good. Had a really solid block. I've been out in Cape Town at the start of the year. I've done a training camp in Cyprus. So yeah, I think the taper's just kind of got me just raring to go at this point.
And the fact, like you say, your first time doing the London Marathon, but so many people taking part at various different levels as well. What do you think, for whether it's yourself or anyone else, makes the London Marathon such a special thing to just take part in?
I think now, like, it is obviously it's so hard to get in. I think there's over 820,000 people applied for, I think, just over 50,000 places. So it was labeled as like the biggest marathon of the year, but I know Paris has actually already beaten that in terms of numbers for the event. But yeah, I think from what I've heard, the support on the road for London is supposed to be just epic. I mean, Simon and I, my partner, we did Boston last year, and the vibes there were just really good. But I've heard obviously like the UK crowds or something else as well, so it'll be really nice. And I know my athletics group, Best Athletics, they've actually got a really big support crew at various different points. So I won't be wearing my Best Athletics colours this time around, but it'll be good to see everyone and hopefully hear some cheers along the way.
And like you say, when you get that support during events, you're experiencing London for the first time. But from your experience up to now, having that support on the sidelines when you are taking on these events, just how important and how motivational can it be out there?
Yeah, I think for probably the everyday runner, it's really good to have the support. I think there is a danger sometimes, certainly in my level, you can kind of waste a little bit of energy getting too interactive with the crowds. But it's really good. Like the noise just definitely spurs you on, and especially if you do hear like a familiar shout out along the way, the chances of that happening are few and far between. Obviously, come from the Isle of Man, but there's always a chance you might see a little Manx flag out there or hear someone shout name if you've got it printed on your bib. So yeah, it definitely goes a long way, especially when you hit a bit of a low point perhaps, and you just see one person, you make eye contact, or someone reaches out with a high five, or you see a banner that you can relate to. Yeah, it's really good.
And the fact that we, again, as I mentioned before, we have so many people from the Isle of Man taking part as well, doing different ages and abilities, if you like, as well. What do you think it says about the athletics scene for the Isle of Man, really, and how many people are capable of taking part in such a grueling yet exciting event?
I think endurance running is definitely becoming more popular, and like it's really good to see. I'm still quite new to it. I mean, I don't know how long I can still say that for, but yeah, the like recent years, since I've been running, there's definitely been much more of a take up, and it's just really nice to see people, as you say, at every level, getting involved. Whether you're striving to run a PB, or you're just going out there just for your own good, or you're raising money for charity. There's just a really broad spectrum, and it's just nice to see that so many people can get involved on so many different levels.
Going into this, obviously, it's been a great 12 months or so as well. You've got a couple of records now to name. Of course, late last year, you broke the Isle of Man Women's Marathon record as well. It was a record that had stood for over 30 years as well. You went 26 seconds quicker than Brenda Walker's time back in 1993. With regards to the landmark you've set and what you've got in mind for this weekend, how confident are you that you could potentially match or even go better than the record you've already set?
Yeah, so the aim is to try and go a little bit faster again. I won't say exactly how much I'm aiming for because I don't want to give everything away, or hold myself to a number. But yeah, the training block that I've just put in has been very good. Everything's kind of gone to plan. I've been working very closely with my coach. Only I think last week he's just pushed me a little bit further and just changed the goalposts ever so slightly to mean I'm running a little bit faster than I originally planned. But I think that's just like it just shows kind of the work I've put in up until this point with the training camp. Everything has gone well. So hopefully, depending on conditions and all the variables that can come into play on Sunday, hopefully it should be a good day.
That is Isle of Man Women's Marathon record holder Christa Cain there, one of a huge Manx contingent taking part in tomorrow's iconic London Marathon. So just a couple of key times for if you want to keep an eye on the London Marathon tomorrow morning. The whole event gets underway tomorrow from 8:50 a.m, so 10 to 9 with the elite men's and elite women's wheelchair races. That will be followed at 9:05 in the morning by the start of the elite women's race, and then 10 minutes after that at 9:15. That will see the elite men's race get underway along with that usual famous, I should say, mass start.
Manx Radio Sport.
Well, finally tonight we're going to be turning our attention to hockey, and it has been a big end to the 2025 season. The finale, the 2025 Cup Finals weekend. 6 finals taking place in the space of less than 2 days. 5 of those taking place today, of course, and following it throughout the day has been our hockey correspondent Ben Cunningham. In just the last few moments, in fact, the final whistle has gone in the last of those games, the men's plate final. Backersby beating Harlequins by 2-0, so Backersby claiming the men's plate title. But to go back through everything, Ben joins us right now. So Ben, very quickly to start with, good afternoon. How has Cup Finals been in general today?
Oh, Rob, it's been absolutely brilliant down here. The atmosphere has been absolutely brilliant. Lots of people been down. I think pretty much every game today, there's been over 100 people down watching. It's been a great atmosphere, and they've been treated to some absolute great hockey.
Fantastic. Well, we'll get to today's games in just a moment because it is worth pointing out, of course, the first of the finals took place last night. The Ladies' Cup final took place at the NSC between Castletown A and Bacchus A. Castletown A targeting a league and cup double after winning the Women's Premier League this season, up against a Bacchus A team who were actually the only team to take points off Castletown A throughout the league season. But Bacchus A's efforts in the league not quite as much as they could muster in the Ladies' Cup. Castletown A have secured a league and cup double. Castletown A winning on Friday night by 4-2. A great season for Castletown Ladies, Ben?
Absolutely, Rob. You couldn't have put it any better. What a season they've had. Finishing the league unbeaten. Okay, they dropped that 1 point to Bacchus when they met in the league. But then to get the cup last night and retain the cup, because obviously they were the current champions of the cup going into that fixture last night, is great testament to the Castletown team this season. They've been phenomenal from game one right till the end of the season.
They have, absolutely. Let's just take a look at a little bit of the statistics, in fact, from the season as well, because I do have those in front of me that I was just having a little bit of a glance at going into the weekend. But Castletown Ladies A, so from the 10 games, 9 wins and 1 draw as well. Their goal-scoring record was good, scoring 41 goals in the league, but conceding just 6 in the league. A phenomenal defensive record. How important was that this season?
Absolutely, it's been crucial to their performance this season, and definitely something that they can be really proud of. Only conceding that many, it's really impressive, especially in the Premier League for sure.
And for Bacchus A, of course, disappointment in losing out in the Ladies' Cup final on Friday night. It's been a tough campaign in the Ladies' Premier League for them this season. Second from bottom, they finished in 5th with 3 wins, I should say, from their 10 games, 7 points on the books because they got that 1 draw. But do you think they might look back on the season with some positives, reaching the Ladies' Cup final and being the only team to actually take points off the Ladies' Premier League champions Castletown A in the league as well, despite their position? Some good things have come from this campaign.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely positives to take from the season. Okay, it might not have been the season that they really wanted, but they have got plenty of positives to take from it, especially getting into the final and giving Castletown a really good game last night. I mean, 4-2, it's not a clear win for Castletown, and I mean, Castletown had to come back from being a goal down to take the lead. So it's definitely a lot of positives for backers to take going forward into next year.
And then going into today's finals, everything started off just after 9 o'clock this morning with the men's bowl final between Valkyrie C and Viking C, the 2 top teams in men's Division 2 this season. Just 1 point separated them at the end of the campaign. Valkyrie C winning the title on 15 points to Viking C on 14 as well. And it was very close indeed when it came to the cup final between these two sides, because it was a 2-2 draw after regular time. Valkyrie C taking it, though, 4-2 on penalty strokes. Very close game indeed, Ben.
It was an absolute thriller of a game to kick off today's proceedings, Rob. Unbelievable start from Valkyries, going 2 up at half time, and then in the second half, Vikings C coming back from 2 goals down to get it to 2-2 to take it to flicks, and then in the flicks, just Valkyries were just more clinical, and they got the victory.
And looking at Viking C, when you look back on that season, obviously narrowly missing out in the Cup, narrowly missing out in the league, very similar in terms of goals scored and goals conceded in the league as well. But, well, actually, just 1 goal difference because they both scored 39 goals in the league this season. Valkyrie C conceded 12 to Viking C's 13. So just close, but no cigar for Vikings this season.
Absolutely, Rob. And yeah, it really was just as close as the table says. It was end-to-end stuff this morning. It could have gone either way. There was chances, late chances as well. And just unfortunately, Viking C just couldn't get it across the line, and Valkyrie C took the victory. And I would like to give credit to the Viking C captain. Of course, big finals day. He made the effort. He wore a suit as he was managing his team on the sideline. So I promised I'd give him a shout out. So credit to him for coming dressed for the occasion.
A touch of class, that's what we love to see down on Cup Finals Day. So yes, Valkyrie C, that's a league and cup double for them, winning Men's Division 2 and winning the Men's Bowl final today. Only just, though, winning 4-2 on penalty strokes against their rivals throughout this season, Viking C. Next up at 11 o'clock was the Ladies' Bowl final between Valkyrie C and Backers C. Backers C, Ladies Division 2 champions, up against Valkyrie C finished second, 3 points behind Backers C. It is a league and cup double secured by Backers Ladies C this season because they've won the Ladies Bowl final today with a comprehensive 5-1 win, Ben.
Yeah, and I mean, at half-time, it was only 2-1 to Backers C, so Valkyries really did put in a really good effort. But in the second half, Backers C really did turn up the pressure, and they really proved it today, and they got that win. Really good team performance from both sides. Lots of young talent coming through both camps in the game, but Backers C take the double.
From Backers C's perspective as well, by winning Ladies Division 2 and getting promoted and a cup as well, that must fill them full of confidence going into the summer and into next season.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I spoke to the captain at the end of the game, and she said that just this season, it's been a development season, of course, because they've not normally put in so many ladies teams, but of course this season they've put in a third ladies team into this cup competition, and it's proved a success, and they've gone on and won it, and they've got the double, like we said, getting the league as well. So congratulations to Backers Ladies C.
And then the third game of the day after that was the coveted Men's Cup final. Backers Men's A crowned Men's Premier League champions this season up against a Valkyries A side that finished fourth in the top flight this season as well, hoping for a bit of an upset. But Backers A said absolutely no way. They've secured a league and cup double. They've comprehensively beaten Valkyries A by 8-0 today, Ben. That must have been a scintillating performance from Backers A.
It was an absolute ruthless performance today by Backers. They just showed just why their goal tally this year has been so phenomenal, and their defensive record as well. They were a brick wall today. Valkyries just could not get anything past them. But when Backers went forward, they were just so clinical. And credit to Valkyries' goalkeeper, Duran Belando. It could have been double figures, but he pulled off some sterling saves today to keep it at just 8. And yeah, congratulations to Backers. Backers A.
And I heard your conversation as well with the Backers A captain, Elliot Reid, afterwards, and he was saying how good they felt, not just at retaining the Men's Cup crown, but also to win the double this season and take back the Men's Premier League title that they'd originally lost the previous season to Vikings A.
Absolutely. I mean, he expressed his disappointment of not finishing the season unbeaten. Of course, on the last day of the season, they did lose to Vikings A on the last day of the season, but he said it's just been great to get the team back in form and getting back to winning ways. Of course, Vikings A last year won the league, snatching it off Backers A, and this season Backers A have got back the league title. Okay, they lost on the last day, but they just got it on goal difference, and that just proves how critical goal difference can come to at the end of the year.
And the final two games of Cup Finals weekend were the respective plate competitions. First up was the Ladies' Plate final at 2:30 between Valkyries B and Backers B. A very close fought game here indeed, but Valkyries B doing just enough to retain the Ladies' Plate title, beating Backers B by 2-1. Close game, Ben.
Very, very close game for sure. Yeah, it was just as close as our first game that happened here this morning at the NSC. And yeah, Valkyries just taking it. I think pretty much in the last 5 minutes of the second half, they snatched the win from a short corner, which they converted by just having a player on the post just to poke it into the back of the net to give them the victory. It was a real good end-to-end game. It could have gone either way for both sides. Both sides looked really good from start to finish, both really strong. And yeah, Valkyries B coming out with the win. And of course, they didn't win the league, but as the Valkyries B captain said in her interview, which we spoke to, she said, okay, Castletown, who won the league, got the better of them in the league, but in the cup, they beat them to get to the final, and they've got the final.
Indeed, more silverware heading out to the west. And last but certainly not least, we had the men's plate final, which finished just a few minutes ago. Again, you were covering that for us, Ben. Backersby winning against Harlequinsby by 2-0 here. So Backersby, they were second in men's Division 1 this season. Harlequinsby second from bottom. So not the easiest of campaigns for men's Division 1. But given that Backers men's B, Ben, scored 62 goals in the league this season, Harlequinsby gave Backers a good game today.
Absolutely, and credit to Harlequins because they had some golden chances to take the lead and to score, but just Backersby's goalkeeper today was having an absolute stormer of a day. Definitely contender for man of the match today. For Backers, though, of course, they just lost out on the final day of the season to Vikings B in that promotion. Of course, Backers B led the league from start to finish, and they had that goal difference lead going into the final day of the season, but Vikings B, level on points with them, took it. So Backers B definitely will be delighted that they've got the plate today. For Harlequins B, though, I think it's definitely a season that they can look back on with pride. Okay, the league, they were really competitive in the league. They did contest a few teams, the likes of like Ramsey and Castletown, and of course Backers Mency, who were in that league as well. But today they put an absolute sterling effort in from start to finish, and they just proved that okay, they finished lower down in that league, but they can still fight with the big boys at the top.
And just very quickly, Ben, we've got around 30 seconds here, but just a quick word on the umpires and the officials that have been making sure today's games have gone ahead. Of course, plenty of action and drama on the pitch, but of course, there needs to be the volunteers that make it all happen as well. And I know you pointed out with the umpires as well, a few of them that are newly qualified as well, coming into the system to help keep the amount of officials that are in the local game going as well. So how good is it that we've seen plenty of Manx officials out there and potentially the next generation as well today?
It's been really good, Rob. Absolutely. Every official today, everyone who's been involved in today has put a sterling effort in. Big thanks to everyone from the MHA, and also from the MHA, a big thank you to Manx Radio for all the coverage that they've provided this afternoon.
Absolutely, well, Ben, thank you very much there. Ben Cunningham, our hockey correspondent there in 2025 Cup Finals weekend, bringing down the curtain on the 2025 Isle of Man hockey season. Another great day of hockey to round things off for the calendar year. Finally tonight, it's a new year and a new chapter for one of the Isle of Man's rising stars of road racing. After a rollercoaster 2 years with the Honda Racing UK team, there's change of foot for Onken rider Nathan Harrison. For 2025, he'll be contesting the TT and Northwest 200 and maybe a few more things besides for an official Honda satellite team, H&H Motorcycles. Well, I've been catching up with Harrison to find out what his ambitions are for the season ahead and how it feels to be continuing his journey in a slightly different environment.
Yeah, really good. I've been to middle to end of February, start of March. I was in Spain. I managed to get 3 weeks of good riding there. I missed the last test. We come in a little bit earlier as the weather started to change in Spain. Obviously, we go there for better weather, and the weather did start to change, so we missed the last one, but I had plenty of riding. So that wasn't obviously an issue. And then recently we've just been doing the tests in Donington Park, but I'm feeling like my old self on the bike again, really enjoying it. And I feel fit. I just need to stay fit.
And one of the big things about it was when people didn't see your name in the Honda Racing UK lineup for this year, people might have worried, where is Nathan Harrison? What's he doing? But you were very quick to point out, no need to panic. I will be at TT and Northwest this year. So how soon did you know, I guess, that you would go down this route into this season?
So I had quite a bit of an idea. I spoke with Harv. The idea behind it really is to take the pressure off me. Obviously, as I just said then before, I missed 2023 TT. I crashed at the Northwest 200. I did have other things going on, obviously at home anyway. So I think everything was meant to happen for a reason then. And then last year I ended up crashing in Spain, and it's no secret now I definitely wasn't fit at TT last year. I was looking at pictures on my phone from a year ago today, and I was thinking, how did I do the Northwest 200, which is in less than 2 weeks' time in the state that I was in? But obviously I got through it. I started a good result, top 10 in the senior, you can't knock, especially not fully fit. So the kind of idea behind it is to kind of take the pressure away from me. And with their support, obviously I'm running under H&H Motorcycles banner as an official Honda satellite team. So I'm still getting their support. They're still supplying me with the thousands. We have bought our own 600. But I get the best of both worlds. So obviously I've still got the support there, but without the pressure. And I can just go, and basically use it as like a rebuilding year and get back to where I was, no injuries, and have a successful year hopefully, and just building on what I've done already, and yeah, keep it under the limelight. But yeah, no, it's good. And like I said, I didn't know. We kind of had, when the official Honda news come out, maybe like the week before, we'd finalised everything, and yeah, between us and Honda, we kind of put the post out there just because obviously there was like quite a lot of people asking what was going to be happening.
When you look back, for example, on the time you've had with Honda Racing, yes, you've mentioned, it's been a bit frustrating at times with injuries and so on. But what are the biggest lessons you've learned, whether it's on the track or off the track? What are the biggest lessons that you learnt in that time that you can take forward into the future?
So really, it was like a life experience. That's a good way of putting it. You're going into a massive team, as a massive infrastructure. There's things I've learned in there, to the way that the team runs, the way how, like, for example, like they have like a tire technician that looks after all the tires, and all of that there I've learned, and how it all works. Whereas like normally you just have your bike on a set of tire warmers. So I've kind of took that now, what I've learned, and bringing that into our own team. That was something I'd never have known of before. And yeah, the way like you debrief with your crew chief, I've learned so much how I can explain what the bike's doing to try and improve the bike. So Richard from Maxton, he is like our suspension supplier, and I've had a close relationship with Richard all of my racing career really. But I've finally now managed to be able to relay information a lot easier, because obviously I've learned that from what the crew chief asks from you in Honda. So all of that improves you as a rider and hopefully makes you faster, and yeah, and obviously and ultimately safer, because you're more comfortable on the motorbike.
And just finally, looking forward to the rest of the year, obviously, naturally, you've got to focus on the Northwest and the TT, but have you got any other ideas besides those two? Could we see the likes of the Southern 100, or maybe on a classic machine over at the Manx Grand Prix / Classic TT, for example?
Yes, definitely. I'll definitely be back down the Southern 100. I will be at the Classic TT. I'm just confirming a couple of bikes and everything yet, so I better not say too much on that one. But I will be back at the Classic TT and Manx Grand Prix. Obviously, that's where it all started for me. And then what I'll do in between is, I think we're just going to pick and choose some British Superbike rounds. We're not sure yet whether it's Super Sport or Super Stock. Obviously, we have got the Super Sport bike there now again. So we'll just pick and choose some of the tracks that I enjoy and fit them in as like around what I'm doing on the roads, and obviously budget depending.
That is Manx road racer Nathan Harrison. You'll be able to hear the full extended interview with Nathan on the Manx Radio Sportscast from early next week. That's just about all we have time for on Saturday Sport Classified this week. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be handing back over to Manx Radio Gold in the next few moments. Don't forget as well, if you want to catch up on any of the results, reaction and analysis to today's sporting action, this Saturday Sport Classified will be available as a podcast later this evening. Have yourself a wonderful Saturday evening, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend as well. But until next time, bye for now.
Manx Radio Sport.